Hey everyone, my name is Trovarsi. I'm an artist and I'm working with Sonocurrent here. And yeah, I just want to kind of show you the three modules that he has. The first one that came out is actually the MT2D. It's the distortion module that can be run in serial and parallel. In this case, I'm using it in serial. It has a tilt filter, so it kind of boosts the low end and the high ends on that.
So when you say serial and parallel, what's it in serial and parallel with? Is it itself?
With itself. So once I patch the input, that breaks the normalization, and so then you can use it as two separate distortions.
Okay.
It's a tube distortion. It's a new tube. And yeah, so in this case right now I have it patched, so it just gives you a little bit more macro control. So, and adding the bias kind of adds a little harmonics.
So are you a user of this with your artist guys on?
Yes. I use the distortion, and the one that I really dig into is the Crossfader, because it's a 3-stage crossfade. It's DC coupled. So essentially, if I just kind of back off this just a second, if I do this, you're no longer hearing it, and it's this side, there's two inputs here, and that crossfades into, and then this side, this crossfades in, so I have the sub out of the same oscillator, so now if I bring that in on the master crossfade, now we're just listening to the sub. So now if I bring this back in, I'm just kind of blending. It has CV control over the crossfading. A lot of fun I've done was like putting drums, like kick drum here, added some percussion, and did sort of like a side chain with the modulation with the Crossfader, which is a lot of fun. The next module he has is the group fader, and you have essentially 4 inputs. You have control over the input, and you have a group level, but what the group level does, it doesn't just take it from 0 to, it's dependent upon where the setting is of each one of these input level controls. So as you're opening it up, so if I'm pointing this one, it's the same thing. And then it has two channels can be inverted, which is nice and handy, especially if I've done a patch with effects where it's like kind of turns something off and then opens the effect, and it's nice to have an inverter built in so you don't have to add another module to the case.
Sure.
And then the other bonus to this module, it has a breakout. So it's connected in the back, so you have an option to use it or not. But the cool thing about it is it's mutes. So they're momentary and latchable mutes. So up, latched, down is momentary. You have offsets on the first 2 channels, and you also have CV control over the mutes itself. So the idea is having a lot of control after making like a interesting complex patch. And often I hear Graham, the owner of Sonocurrent, say some artists even patch themselves out of the patch, and this kind of gives you back that macro, that control. And in my case, I'm a techno artist, so a lot of things that I like to focus on are using modules that help me transition or create something like an A, B sort of thing that's happening. And with being able to use the crossfader and using the macro control on the group fader, it just gives that hands-on playability, which I really like. And then this distortion, it gets pretty gnarly if you wanted to.
So do you use it in series or parallel? Which is the way you usually use it?
I typically use it in parallel when I'm traveling.
What's the character of that's different from series?
It's just, this is adding a little extra additional control when you're using it in serial. For me, in parallel, it's just giving me 2 distortions. So I can now use 2 separate voices, which is nice, because I travel a lot. When you're thinking about not an at-home case, but more of like your travel case, it's all about the real estate that you're taking up in your case.
Sure.
So that's one of the cool things about it that's super flexible, that, hey, I'm at home, I might want to patch it in serial and take advantage of all the ways to to manipulate it and getting all these different distortion sounds. But when I'm traveling, I want to use a distortion on a different voice, and in this case, I have basically two distortion modules built into one without having to change up my sound. I can still carry that sound into my travel, which is great, I think. But,
and you can chain it and it goes up to 11.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah, cool.
So where can people find out more information?
So Sonocurrent, it is sonocurrents.com. I can even flip over this little QR code situation here.
Oh, that's a good one. We'll put that on camera. There you go.
Nice.
Excellent. Well, many thanks for that.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for stopping by. It's great.